All right, here we go. Five, four, three, two. Hello, welcome everyone to Women in Business, Sestranow's Women in Business. I am your host, Stephanie Montgomery, founder and CEO of Sestranow, an international women's empowerment organization. Welcome to my show, Women in Business, a place where we believe every woman is worthy of the world hearing her story. I am very excited about tonight's guest, who is going to be a strategic partner of Sestranow. Stay tuned for that announcement. But join me in welcoming Charece Sanders to Women in Business. Hi, Charece.
Hi, how are
All
you?
right. So Charece Sanders is the founder and CEO of Metamorphosis, a women's empowerment initiative based in Poconos, United States, in Pennsylvania, East Stroudsburg, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Metamorphosis is a nonprofit association, nonprofit business that services women in the community. Projects such as the Everyone Eats Project, Emergency Food Program, Healthy Lifestyle Initiatives, Job Readiness, Mental Health Resources, Women's Support Groups, Reentry Recovery Support Services. She's doing it all. She's making it happen in her community. And I actually met her at her health fair, right? A couple weeks ago at her health fair in the community. I mean, she had the hospitals there. She had women there selling their wares, everything to empower women and to help women of all ages and women and girls and just the community in general, right? So welcome.
Absolutely.
Welcome, Charece, to Women in Business. So let's tell us a little bit about yourself. Where were you born? Where were you raised? Where do you currently reside?
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you, first of all, for having me as a guest on the show. I'm honored that you asked me to be here today. Um, I am a Pennsylvanian, Poconos by way of New York City. I grew up in Harlem, 113th and Lexington.
Oh,
Hey,
okay. All right.
Johnson. Yeah, and moved to the Poconos in 2008 with my family. I have been a community advocate since I was the age of 14. And that was working with children in Bellevue Hospital as a candy striper. I worked with
Okay.
kids who actually lived at the hospital, reading to them and playing games with them, and basically just trying to make them feel like somebody actually cares. It was at that point I found that was my calling, you know.
All right.
Um, and then later on, as I grew into my teenage years, I looked into medicine. I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to be a pediatrician. Um, and then I found that doctors pretty much don't get to share the same kind of time with a patient as a nurse would. So I ended up going into nursing. But for the most part, my life has been about advocacy for women who have been in situations such as domestic violence, survivors of rape and sexual assault,
Okay.
any kind of situation that could change their life,
So Cerise, tell us a little bit about so you said you went into the medical field. What was how long did you do that? Where we understand why you decided to do that, and then tell us how did what about the transition to your nonprofit Metamorphosis. Tell us a little bit about that. I know this you shared a little bit about the story, but help our viewers to understand you and your experience and like what you told me about what happened in 2020, if you don't mind.
So no problem at all. Um, I the decision to go into the medical field kind of happened. Um, it solidified itself 2000, at the turn of the new millennium. My mom passed, and I was with her when she died. Um, and I couldn't do anything at that point to help her. And when she passed, the one thing I said is that I would not lose anyone else. And that pushed me into exploring, nursing and being a medical assistant and, doing something in the medical field where I could save lives. The thing was, at that point I was not a nurse yet. So saving life, the way I was able to save lives was to be able to advocate for women who needed help, to help young ladies who were here from other countries to get back into school. I help establish programs in the community for young ladies who were learning English as a second language, getting their GEDs, as well as establishing a program where they could take their children to school with them. So there would be no barriers to them getting their education and then getting jobs, and then hopefully finding and creating a system of self sustainability so that they can go on and give themselves and their children a good life. That kind of spilled over into my adult life. Um, the reason I chose that road was because I myself am a rape and sexual assault survivor. I have had some mental health concerns and had to have therapy, spent, some time in a institution, to get some care. I have lost my home through eviction. Um, I've tried to commit suicide multiple times and survived them, those attempts. And going through all those experiences put me in a place where I wanted to figure out where are other people who have had these situations and survived them. How did they get through it? How did they deal with the pain? How did they deal with the hurt? How did they deal with the day to day? And so looking for somewhere to be safe from myself and the things that were troubling me and my trauma, I created Metamorphosis.
Okay.
Metamorphosis was a sanctuary for me, and it was a one stop hub where women would be able to come and get support, be able to come and get resources, connect with other women who might have gone through the same experiences they have, and be able to say, hey, how did you get through it? It was somewhere for us to be able to uplift each other and be able to
Yes.
encourage each other to say, you know what, today was bad, but tomorrow might be a little bit better. Let's see what tomorrow brings. And what can we do to help make that tomorrow better? And so that's where I am now. I took my nursing career, all of my community service experience, and combine those into a nice little jambalaya, okay,
Right.
and created Metamorphosis. And it's been a blessing to myself and to others.
And to the community, I see that, like, as you can see from the photos, like, I mean, it's very comprehensive what you do. So tell us in your own words. I said it briefly, but tell us in your own words the kind of services that um you offer to the community so people will understand. I see here you have a food bank, you have a food program.
Absolutely. So, we work with women from all different walks of life, um, empowering them, encouraging them, advocating for them, and supporting them back to self sustainability so that they don't necessarily have to rely on too many community services to be able to live their lives through the fullest for them and their
Yes,
families. We do that by addressing four primary areas. Our emergency food service program, which is the Everybody Eats project, which is the picture that you're showing now, is an emergency food program for families, to help them get over that hump and address any food security, insecurity issues that might be happening in the family. One of the things that we do with Everybody Eats is that we do take in consideration like healthcare issues, special diets, how many are in the family so that you're getting enough to feed your family.
yes.
What we do is we provide them with our concierge style shopping experience where they can make an appointment, And that's their time in the pantry with the pantry assistant. And then they can go in and have a shopping experience where they choose the foods that they would cook, they would like, they would eat. We do that simply because we want to make sure that the family is eating and people are getting what they need. We don't want to contribute to any illnesses. So if you are lactose intolerant, but I'm bringing you a box with ice cream and cow's milk and those kind of things, then I'm contributing to your illness. And we don't want to
Mm,
do that. We want to make sure that we're providing healthy options such as bread, fresh breads, fresh produce, eggs, milk, fresh meats, salads. We have partnerships with organizations such as Wawa and Panera Bread, um, with farmers markets to be able to get these foods fresh so that people are getting the best possible nutrition they can get, through our program. And that's only part of it, through Everybody Eats, we have found that there are other challenges usually that the family is facing when they're facing food insecurities. So we also have looked at the fact that many of them were out of work. So job
yes,
readiness became a concern for us, and it was something else that we needed to address. Mental health and wellness. If people didn't understand what was happening to them, or they were suffering from depression, or they were suffering from um mental incapacities, but still not getting the care that they needed so that they can live a normal life day to day, that was an
yes,
issue. And that
yes,
contributed to the other issues. And then finally, there were other circumstances such as incarceration and substance use disorder, which became
yes,
another large community that we were seeing who was being affected by food insecurities and homelessness and not being able to get a job and stuff, not being able to have health equity, and such. So we wanted to address those four primary areas so that we're looking at the client from a 360-degree holistic point of view. you know
yes,
if we address the whole client, when you get sick, you can't just address the one symptom that you're experiencing. We have to dig a little bit deeper to find out what's causing that symptom and
yes.
address the underlying cause, not just the symptom that's right in front of you.
All right, okay. Thank you. I am just so excited just hearing about all this and knowing that you are now one of Sestranow strategic partners, and we will be partnering on the community service side of Sestranow. And I'm just so excited to be able to provide these services to the world. You put
Yeah.
together an amazing business model, and I just believe that it's all in divine order that I met you, that I don't have to recreate the wheel. I can duplicate and just show the world, uh, introduce the world to you personally and to Metamorphosis. So we're gonna announce that partnership,
Yeah.
eventually, and we're gonna just start getting these community services out there. So let's continue the interview. What would you say is your biggest challenge in life and in business?
My own fears.
Okay.
Okay. My own fears would be my biggest challenge. I often feel and have felt in the past that I was not good enough. You know, um, I wasn't smart enough, maybe I wasn't pretty enough. I didn't speak as eloquently as someone else,
Yeah.
I didn't have the credentials behind my name like someone else did. And as a result of maybe those things, that I wasn't good enough to do the things that I wanted to do. And many times I was my worst critic. I'm still sometimes my worst critic, you know.
Yes.
But sometimes it's very hard to convince yourself that you're good. You are great as you are. There's always room to grow. And the moment I realized that I didn't have to know it all, I didn't have to be it all, I didn't have to do it all, okay, that I could at some point step back and say, I want to learn as opposed to be a teacher. That was the point I realized that I could do more by realizing that I knew less.
Wow. Thank you for that. And it resonates with me as well on a personal level, I must say. And I think with many women, and that's why you're about
Mm-hmm.
women's empowerment and I am about women's empowerment, because we know what it feels like
Yeah.
to just go through it. So what do you want to accomplish in business and in life before you leave this earth?
Wow. So, what do I want to accomplish? I often wonder what my legacy would be. Okay. I'm very concerned about my footprint and the
Yeah.
imprint that I will leave on people, when I'm not here, and how I would want them to remember me. And the one thing I want to accomplish is to be able to create a place where not only just women, because I truly honestly believe that when you empower a woman, you empower that man that's with that woman, and together they empower their children. And that
Yes.
family then empowers the community, which will then empower the state, and it'll have a ripple effect. Okay. And go, wherever it can go. It's nonstop. It can go to infinity. So I want to be able to establish that place, that legacy, that those services and programs that will let people know that yesterday was bad, but tomorrow could be better. And that there are options. There are options and stuff. And that's what I
Yes.
want. I want to be able to establish that one. And I know it's going to take more than one. But if I can save one life a day, keep that one person from wanting to commit suicide, okay? Keep that one person from having to live on the street in a tent somewhere. Keep
Yeah.
that family together and not have children go into the welfare system and possibly get hurt more than the home they were in. If I could find that one safe space, then I would be happy leaving here.
Wow. Whew. Yeah, don't
Sorry.
make me start crying. That's okay. Oh my goodness. So, okay, if you could write a note to your 15-year-old self, what would you tell her? I know this is going to be good.
I would tell her it's okay. Um, I did tell her it was okay. I was 9 when my abuse started, and it didn't stop until I was about 14 or 15,
Mm,
because at 14 or 15 I started running away to get away from it. Um, and I would tell that 15-year-old Charece that the things that happened to you were not your fault. You couldn't have controlled it, and you couldn't do anything more than you did. You did everything you could do at the time, but you don't have to stay in that moment, because that moment was for that time and space. Right now, God has provided me with another moment for me to live in, for me to dwell in, for me to grow in, and to use the pain that I went through and the suffering that I went through as my power now to grow and to help other women grow and come through what they've been through.
why are you making me cry?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but I think transparency, my my pain has become my superpower.
Yes.
You know, my story has become my platform, and it has given me the will to want to live It's giving me that it's giving me everything inside of me that's saying, you know what? Tomorrow's going to be better because you're going to make it better. You
Yes.
don't have to wait for somebody to give it to you. You can create it yourself. And the thing is, a lot of times we don't know that. We don't know that we can create it. We don't know that we could live through it. We don't know that we could pray through it. You know, we
Yes.
don't know that we can walk through it, but we can. We can. It
Yes.
may hurt and you may stumble and you might fall, but that's okay. You can get up. You're going to make mistakes because you're human, but that's all right. God already knows what it is that you're going to go through before you go through it. And He's not going to take you through anything that you cannot handle. And I've just learned to accept that challenges are going to happen.
Yes.
I have to go through them, but for every challenge I go through, I'm getting one step closer to where I need to be for my self actualization, for my self sustainability, for
Yes.
my healing, you know? So it's about the healing for me. I want everyone to be healed. I want you to be healed. I want me to be healed. I want us to heal together and heal other women. You know,
Yes.
any woman at the sound of my voice who hears this, I want them to be encouraged to know that, you know what? I slit my wrist and I lived through it. You know, I tried to jump and step in front of a train on 14th Street in New York, in Manhattan. Okay. And I lived
Wow.
through it. You know what I'm saying? I was assaulted and I lived through it. You know,
Yes.
many of my relationships were domestic violence relationships and I was almost shot and in front of my children and everything. And I lived through it. And when I look back at the things that happened back then, I say, oh my God, I could have did this differently. I could have did that differently. No, I did the best that I could at the time I could do it.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know, but today would be a different story. So to that 15-year-old Charece, you're okay, baby girl. You're gonna be all right.
Yes. And you
Because
are.
yeah, you're gonna be all right.
You are. And I'm just so happy that you have decided to partner, with Sestranow to be my sestra, because this is a message that we need to get out, Charece, to the world, to the other young girls, to the other women that are going through it, to let them know you're not alone. We got you. You can get away
Yeah,
from that,
yeah.
abuser, from
And
that
there's help.
predator.
There's help for you. You know, I know sometimes it seems like there's not and no one wants to be there for you because it is a big task. It is a big task when someone comes sits in your office and says, you know what, I don't want to live anymore, I'm tired, my kids will be better off without me. That's a big task to take on because you don't know how that's going to end. But
Yes.
the thing is, I can't speak for nobody else, but I and anybody that works with me will know Charece will do everything in her power to try, you know,
Yes.
and I won't stop. And maybe that's one of my downfalls is that I will take myself and put myself into a situation, okay, where
Yes.
there even comes a point where I should say, okay, you know what, I need to step back. I can't because the truth of the matter is I was there. I was that woman that went and sat in somebody else's office and said, my kids would be better off without me. You know, then we won't have to struggle financially because I'm not working. Or they won't have to constantly take care of me because I had major health issues and I had heart attacks and oh God, I could go on and on and on. But the truth of the matter is, when you're feeling helpless and you're feeling hopeless and you're feeling down and out and like nobody cares, you have nowhere to go and nobody to turn to, okay? That's the time you will find your strength. Because when nobody else is there, that's when you realize you have nobody else to rely on but yourself.
Charece, thank you so much for you being so transparent and for that powerful testimony. And so I just want to, I want you to tell us, How may the viewers, right? All of our viewers, all of your sestras support you in Metamorphosis.
Metamorphosis is going through changes, um, changes for the good, which is awesome. I love it. Um, and we're growing. We're growing in a way that I never expected. Because when women find out about the programs and services that we offer, they're like, I've never been anywhere like this.
Mhm.
And how can I get involved? How can I utilize your services? Can you help me? And I invite them in, you know, give me a call. I will leave my phone number, my information. You can reach me anytime, Monday through Friday at 570-223-4503. That's our hotline number. If you're in trouble, if you're alone, if you're lost, call us. We will find a way to help you. We will find somebody to come get you. We will find resources. If you're in another state, we will help connect you with resources in your state. Okay.
Yes.
If you are in Pennsylvania in the Poconos area, okay, we are an hour and a half from New York City, you know, an hour to 30 minutes from New Jersey. We're right across the border at Route 80. Stop by and see us in Stroudsburg.
Yes.
Stop by and see us in Stroudsburg. Okay. When you walk through my doors, I'm gonna give you a hug and welcome you home.
Yes.
Okay. And we
Oh,
welcome you home because you know what? The space is intentionally built and created for women to be in a safe space where they can feel like they can come and they can let the burdens down. Lay
all
those
right.
burdens down, let someone else take care of you for a moment. And that's why our programs and services are catered, are tailored to cater to the woman, to her mental health, her physical health and wellness. Okay.
Yes.
Because we take care of everybody else, but who's taking care of us? You
On
know?
that note, I just want to say, Sestranow is so happy again to be able to, um, you know, begin this journey with you to duplicate what you're doing all over the world. So I'm gonna put that bug out there so everyone will know. They can find
Absolutely.
Charece and Sanders on the Sestranow app. If you're in need of her services, her full information will be on the app, so you can download our app for women at sestranow.com and find her. But you will be seeing her as long as you follow Sestranow. You will work with Charece, but until then, please look for Metamorphosis and give her a call. So let's
Well,
before
can
we
I
wrap
just
this up, go ahead.
Yeah, can I just add one thing?
Sure,
I'm
please.
sorry, I did miss part of your question, which was how can anyone support Metamorphosis?
Yes.
Well, Metamorphosis needs funding to run. Okay.
Okay.
We need funding. So if there's anyone who would be interested in, helping to fund any of our programs, we always need products for women, because we help a lot of women and they always need clothing and they need hygiene products and they need health products. But we also need our case managers. We need to keep our lights on. We need to keep our doors open. So we are looking for foundations or independent funders who would be interested in helping us to continue the work that we're doing in the community. We would
Yes.
love to talk to them too.
Now that you mention it, I have some things and I am going to bring it over. I have some things. I have
Thank you.
clothing, I have stationery and office supplies.
Oh,
I have a
beautiful.
lot, and I'm going to make sure you get it all. So we're going to talk about that when we're done
Okay.
with this, but we're
Thank
going to wrap
you.
up this episode with a quick game. All
Awesome.
right.
I'm
So are
ready.
you ready for it?
Yes.
All right. So answer yes or no. So on a
Okay.
fun note, let's begin. Dubai or Italy?
Ooh, Dubai.
Woo! Shower or bath?
Bath.
Fish or chicken?
Fish.
Facebook or Instagram?
Facebook.
Mercedes or BMW?
Ooh, Mercedes.
Pepsi or Coca-Cola, if you had to choose one.
Coca-Cola.
All right. Hawaii or Florida?
Hawaii.
Bus or road trip in a car?
Road trip in the car. I'm a driver.
All right. Pizza or burger?
Pizza.
Beach or pool?
Beach.
Uber or Lyft?
I should eat Uber. They bring me food. They bring me food.
All right, Charece, my sister, my dear sister, thank you for this very emotional episode of Women in Business. I look forward to working with you for many years to come, to reach out to the women and the young girls in this world to show them that they can do this, and we're going to give them the resources that they need. So we're going to end this episode, and I welcome everyone to please reach out to Charece if you're in need of the services that Metamorphosis provides. And this will now end this episode of Women in Business, a place where we believe every woman is worthy of the world hearing her story. Thank you, Charece, for joining us.
Thank you. Take care, Stephanie.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.